So let's start off by talking about the vision. What is a vision? Well, it's your ideal future. It's where you want the business to be. It is quite literally your vision for the business. What it is not is what you do and how you behave in order to get there. What you do is your mission, and how you behave is your core values. So a lot of things that inside your vision, think 5 to 10 years from now. That is what your vision is going to be. What kind of impact do you want to make on the clientele or the leads of your business? Your vision is both aspirational and inspirational, and it's there to help motivate your team and keep you aligned with all of the content you're creating and your strategy. And your vision can even impact those outside of your business, like your clients. So to reiterate the differences between the three is your vision is where are we going? Your mission is how are we going to do it? And your core values are how are we going to act while doing that? By defining all three, it gives you clear guidelines when creating your content, and it makes it easy to make decisions going forward if they do or do not align with the business. If you get a sweet business opportunity and you look at it and decide, this does not align with my vision, it may be in your best interest to say no. These three elements are incredibly important when it comes to your business, and it's important to understand and reflect on them constantly. Because if you're presented with a business opportunity and that opportunity does not align with your vision, mission, or maybe your core values, I would highly recommend to reconsider it. It may not just confuse your employees, but it may confuse your clients if you take a completely different turn and go towards a different vision that you have established for years. Now, like I said, we want to start on the vision first, and we want to build from the ground up. So what we want to focus on are those future aspirational goals, that 5 to 10, maybe 15 or 20 year goal or vision for your business. Now, visions do not have to be grand or extremely detailed. They can be, quite frankly, straight to the point. For example, Patagonia has a great company vision that states we're in the business to save our home planet. It's short, it's bold, and it's value driven. Other examples are LinkedIn, to create economic opportunity for every member of the global workforce. Again, it's global, ambitious, and it's people-centered. It's very simple, and it does not, again, need to be extremely detailed. In many cases, your employees are going to be carrying around this vision, making sure that every decision they make at their level is aligned with the company vision. If it's too difficult and too complicated, there may be a lot of gray areas where employees take a different turn and make decisions that are not really truly aligned with the company vision. The key takeaway of just these few examples here is that clarity beats complexity, emotion is more memorable than function, and big doesn't mean vague. You can make it specific enough to inspire action. So, before you clicked play for this video, you may have noticed a downloadable document below. If you haven't already downloaded that, I highly urge you to do that now, because over the next 5 to 10 minutes, we're going to be going over everything on that document, which is a vision statement exercise. Inside this document, there are 3 parts and multiple exercises, and I am going to show you examples that I've already pre-written up for a tax and legal business and a mobile mechanic, so that you can get an idea of what elements go into each section. And of course, you can follow along and understand the differences between the different prompts that are on this document. For confirmation, this is the document that you should have just downloaded. I recommend uploading it into Google Docs or Word, or if you really feel like you need to be more hands-on, you can print it out and fill in this information via pencil or pen. But let's dive in. Now here you can see that I've already gone ahead and filled this information in. It took me a great deal of time, of course, because I wanted to create practical examples within each section. So we can always bounce back and forth between the two, as you can see here. So part 1, of course, is understanding what is the vision statement. And where we want to start with that is, what future are you trying to create? So over here, like I said, I created an example for a tax and legal business, and I created an example for a traveling mechanic. As for the tax and legal business, what future are you trying to create? A future where small business and families feel empowered and confident in their financial and legal decisions. For the traveling mechanic, I felt a future where car maintenance is mobile, accessible, and stress-free for everyone. These are great futures that you are trying to create. Now, what long-term impact do you want your business to have? Now, this can be somewhat easy for service-based businesses, but for product-based businesses, you're going to have to really think about the impact that your products are going to be making on the customer and how long that impact is going to last. In this case, for the tax and legal business, we have to improve financial literacy and help thousands of families build and preserve wealth across generations. And for the traveling mechanic, to redefine the automotive repair industry by making high-quality, honest service more convenient and trustworthy. Now, the next question is, how will your business make a difference in the lives of others? Again, tax and legal, it's providing clear and proactive guidance that helps clients make smarter and more secure decisions. And for the mechanic, it's saving people time, reducing stress, and preventing them from being taken advantage of. As you can tell, a lot of these elements are pain points from the clients. A lot of people in the mechanic industry, in the vehicle repair, or in many cases, a lot of repair industries, people feel like they constantly are getting taken advantage of because they don't understand the process. And the same can be said for the tax and legal business as well, because they want to make more secure decisions, or they want to make better decisions and to feel smarter with their finances. They want clear guidance because they don't know what they're doing. They don't understand the industry. They're going to you as the professional. So these are the differences you're going to be making. They're the pain points you're solving for clients. Now, what's incredibly important about your vision is the inspiration. So when it comes to this element, we need to make sure that inspiration is tied into the big picture of your vision. For the tax and legal business, I stated knowing that each client I help is gaining peace of mind and long-term clarity. And for the traveling mechanic, it's seeing the relief and gratitude when somebody gets back on the road without hassle. So these are just basic questions to really kick off the inspirational process of creating your vision. They do not have to be as detailed as this. It's more important to just get words on paper and to understand where your mindset's at. And as we further progress through this exercise, you're going to realize that your vision is really just piecing itself together. So part 2 is exercising another method to craft your vision. So to start off, we have exercise 1, which is future projection. And in this case, we want to ask a few questions. What does it look like? Who are you helping? What kind of transformation are you creating? And what are the people saying about your brand? So if we come back up here, they're very similar. What inspires you? How will your business make a difference in the lives of others? And what long-term impact do you want your business to have? What future are you trying to create? So very similar questions, but maybe by asking yourself a slightly different question with maybe some slight word changes, it may inspire you to think of something outside of the box. So in this case, for the tax and legal business, what does it look like? We've grown into a multi-location advisory firm with a trusted online presence. Our team is known nationally, et cetera, et cetera. Who are you helping? Small business owners, entrepreneurs, and families. What kind of transformation are you creating? We turn financial and legal confusion into long-term clarity. What are people saying about your brand? They make the complicated feel simple. They listen, they care, and they've saved us thousands. So this is that guidance that we were talking about in the first example. And this is the clarity that we were referring to in the first example. And these are more granular elements to the vision that these questions didn't necessarily guide you into answering. And so that's what is important about this exercise. So for the mechanic, what does it look like? We operate a fleet of branded vans offering same-day mobile mechanic service. Who are you helping? Busy families, professionals, and small business fleet owners. What kind of transformation are you creating? We're replacing frustration and distrust with convenience. And what are people saying about my brand or your brand? They came to my office, fixed my car, and I didn't lose a minute of my day. Total lifesavers. So again, just reflecting on the pain points that we are solving with the vision. That is something your vision can really lean into. But again, I want to come back and repeat what we started with, that clarity is better than complexity. So while we're doing these exercises, it's important to recognize that all of these statements are not going to be compiled into one big long paragraph vision. We want to really dial things in. But as we're building things out through these questions, you may recognize that some of these questions are touching on really important elements like the actual customer rather than the future vision of the business's finances, for example. So exercise 2 focuses on core beliefs and motivation. In this exercise, we have 5 different questions that we want to ask ourselves. If we come back over here to the main design here, we have list 3 to 5 core beliefs or motivators that drive your work. So coming back over here for the tax and legal business, everyone deserves access to a strategic financial and legal guidance. Financial clarity builds stronger families. Proactive planning is more powerful than reactive problem solving. Education and empathy are at the foundation of trust. We believe in small businesses that change the world. For the mechanics, it's people shouldn't have to rearrange their life. Honesty and reliability are more important than upselling. Automotive expertise should meet customers where they are, and every driver deserves safety and convenience. And last but not least, we believe quality service can feel personal, even on wheels. Under part 2, we have a third exercise, the impact statement. This is a really important element to potentially incorporate into your vision because it provides an action within your vision. For the above questions that we've already answered here, we've talked about the beliefs, the motivators, we've really leaned into future projection. But for exercise 3, we really want to lean into the action element. My business exists to what or blank so that blank. For the tax and legal business, we stuck with just one example, and same for the mechanic, but my business exists to simplify tax and legal strategies so that everyday entrepreneurs can grow their business with clarity and confidence. It is an action. For the mechanic, it's my business exists to bring professional car care directly to people so that they can stay safe and on the road without disrupting their day. So again, just reflecting based off of the examples, we have exercise 1, which is future projection. We have exercise 2, which is core beliefs and motivations. And we have exercise 3, which focuses on that impact statement. From there, we can move on to part 3, which is building your vision statement. For part 3, we're finally going to be putting all of the elements together. Here, we're going to take everything from exercise 1 and 2, and we're going to shoot for a 1 to 3 sentence max. We want it to be ambitious, aligned, and clear. We want some action plans involved in that. And of course, we want to make sure that we personally align with it. So here we have the example from the tax and legal business. Our vision is to become the most trusted partner for small businesses and families navigating tax and legal systems, empowering them to build, grow, and protect what matters most. In this case, I felt like it was really important to focus on the clients and so in this case, it's small businesses and families. Of course, it's a tax and legal business, so the services you're going to be providing are navigating tax and legal systems. And through that, we want to empower the clients to build, grow, and protect what matters most. Now, for the mechanic, I really felt that we wanted to focus the vision on revolutionizing auto care by making trusted, top-tier mechanic services accessible, mobile, and centered on real human connection. Real human connection results in positive trust and great relationship building. So we go to the top. One of the things I was really focused on here when it comes to the mechanic side of things is trust and reliable service. Something that doesn't take a bunch of time out of the day, and transparency is at the forefront. So if we come back to the main final vision statement, again, centered on real human connections is a great element that is founded on trust. And of course, mobile is important because this is a traveling mechanic business, so we want to lean into the specialties of the service they are providing. And our vision is to revolutionize auto care by making trusted. Again, we're leaning into the trusted side of things. Top tier, we want to be known as the best. Accessible, again, making it easy to use, easy to connect, easy to call. These are great vision statements for the business. Now that you've crafted your vision, it is time to move on to the mission and core values. Okay, now it is time to move to the mission statement exercise. We've completed the vision. You've got a solid vision plan for your business. Now it's important to understand how to get there. If we go back to the structure, the vision is the future, the mission is how we do it, the core values are the behavior behind how we do it. So in this case, let's jump into the mission statement exercise. We need to ask ourselves 5 different questions. Now, please feel free to reflect on the vision statements that you made in the exercises above, because they're going to help you answer these questions. In any case, again, we're looking at the future, so we go up to where do we want the business to be? Well, if we know we want the business to be here, the question we need to ask is, what do you do to get there? What do you need to do to get there? And that's going to be your first question to ask for the mission statement. The second one is, who do you do it for? In this case, again, we look at the tax and legal business. We're focused on business owners and families, so we're going to be putting those elements into this question. We want to do it for the small business and the families of Main Street America. Now, it's incredibly important to differentiate yourself. We're going to be talking about that in future module here. But in this case, for the mission, we want to differentiate ourselves a little bit with our mission statement. So we want to be here. How do we do it differently to get there? Not every path leads to the same results, and it's important to take a step back and think about how we can go about it differently to make an impact, again, on the people that we are serving. And that leads directly into the last and final question: why does it matter right now? So if we hop over to the examples that I have created for the tax and legal business, what do you do? We provide tax strategy, legal structure, guidance, and financial education. Who do you do it for? Small business owners, families, and entrepreneurs. How do you do it differently? We combine proactive planning with education, clear communication, and personalized support. And why does it matter right now? And it's because too many people are operating without a strategy, overpaying in taxes, exposing themselves legally, and they don't even know it. Now we combine all of those questions into our final mission statement. Now, I want to clarify that the vision statement should be shorter, it should be direct, easy to remember, and easy to cite. The mission statement can be a little bit more advanced. It can be upwards of a paragraph or a few sentences combined. So in this case, for the example that we're using, the tax and legal business, we help small business owners and families take control of their financial future by offering proactive tax and legal strategy with clear, trustworthy education so they can grow with confidence and keep more of what they earn. You can see that nearly all of those questions led to the final statement for the mission statement. If we come down to the mechanic, we provide mobile automotive repair and maintenance services. Who do you do it for? Busy individuals, working parents, and small business fleets that rely on transportation every day. How do you do it differently? We show up wherever they are, on time, honest, and prepared with high quality service and full of transparency. Why does it matter right now? Because most people don't have time to waste at a shop, and they're tired of not knowing who to trust with their vehicle. So their final statement is, we help people stay on the road and in control of their time by delivering honest, professional mobile auto repair wherever, whenever they need it. Simple as that. Now, with the core values, this is more of a personal note. So there really isn't necessarily an exercise that follows with the vision and mission. So I really just want to emphasize that this needs to come from you as the business owner. You need to take a look at the business, your relations with clients, your relations with employees, and how you want to be perceived by the public. I tend to lean on either 3 or 6 core values. It's easy, they're simple, and you can keep things into either bullet points or have a bullet point with a preceding sentence that explains it a little bit more. In this case, for the examples, I actually only went with 5, but again, you can have anywhere from 3 core values up to 10, but remember that you want to embody all of them, and if there are more than 6, I would say there are probably 4 in there that you could either combine into the first 6, or you should ask yourself if those are absolutely the most important things that you want to embody your business around. For the tax and legal core values, I said clarity over complexity, because we've talked about how the financial content can be difficult and there needs to be guidance involved in there. Proactive thinking, of course, we want your clients to be proactively thinking for the future. Education, which could very much so be tied with number one, clarity over complexity, integrity always, and relationship first. You could also make the argument that relationship and integrity could go together. So you can see that sometimes you can combine the core values into a more stronger, impactful statement rather than just bullet points. But again, you're the business owner. The core values should come from you. It should embody your vision and mission and how you want to behave when it comes to implementing those items into the business. So for the traveling mechanic core values, here are the 5: convenience without compromise, trust is earned, people over profit, speed, safety, and service, and show up with integrity. Now, I will mention too, if you look up other businesses out there and their core values, you're going to see a lot of very similar core values: integrity, trust, convenience, passion, transparency. A lot of these core values are just really great statements to abide by for both you and your employees. So don't feel like you need to go crazy and be super out of the box when it comes to these core values. It's just important that you set a standard for how you should behave in order to implement your mission and vision statements. And that completes Module 1.1, talking about company vision and values. Now, just a few things to recap here before we close out the video. I hope you went through the workbook. I really urge you to go in and actually do those questions yourself. Of course, to make things easy, you can always go to ChatGPT or do some sort of AI prompt and have them fill out everything for you really quickly. But the problem with that is that it doesn't come from you. It's not your business. It's not your words and your vision and mission. It's a computer-generated one. So I really urge you to do it yourself so that you have really strong points going forward that you align with, and it's not something that was just pre-written for you. That said, a lot of business owners, even like myself, want things quickly, to move on quickly. So feel free to use ChatGPT or another AI, of course, to help you move through this quickly. There's nothing wrong with it. Just make sure that you fully align with it. Also, throughout this program, we're going to be going through a lot of different elements and really ultimately building a workbook. So this is the first page that's going to be inside your binder. I recommend grabbing a binder or having a little manila envelope that you can start putting these items in, so that in the future you can open it up and reflect on it, or in any case, create a Google Drive folder or a Dropbox folder and start dropping these elements in and creating that virtual workbook, because you're going to want to reflect on this. This first video here is talking about those guidelines. You need to stay within those guidelines. If you start veering off, there are going to be problems with your content, and that goes for website development, your creative content, your paid marketing. Your brand guideline, your vision is incredibly important. It creates consistency and it builds a memorable experience with your clients. Just like I started at the very beginning, there's a reason that Apple, Nike, Disney have such memorable brands, and it's because their vision has stayed the same from the first step to the last step. And we want to make sure that we're building that exact structure for your business as well.